Hello everyone, this is Jess from Jess Plans and Writes, and today I'd like to show you a flip through March in my Hobonichi that is still in this wonderful cover from Claudia Muscat, and my Shakespeare Journal. We're going to start with the Shakespeare Journal because it's shorter, obviously. And here is the first week of March. I tried to do something special with this week by making it so this vellum printout shows through when I flip open my sterling ink vellum that I printed out in A5. I'm not that happy with this, but I do like this idea, and I also like the spread, even though this transfer sticker didn't quite rub off the way I wanted it to. Anyway, so this is my sterling ink spread here. It's mostly about flowers, so the Shakespeare Journal does have some themes running through, and in this case it's flowers for the beginning of spring, and it was also quite a warm March, so it fits quite well. Then, here, the second week, I must say I don't like these transparent sterling ink washi strips and whatnot. I don't like them quite as much, but I also think they do look beautiful. And here I tried to match these, or this pink with the pink of these cherry blossoms, and actually they did blossom in March. Yes, here was International Women's Day, so it was a bit about women in Shakespeare. Here it was about how the globe is constructed so that if you go there in the afternoon, the sun will fall on the audience to warm them. This was actually the reason why I started this sterling ink subscription, because I thought the January flowers were just gorgeous, stunning. And that's why I chose this as a spread. Here are the Ides of March, so it's about Julius Caesar's assassination, and of course that also features in the Shakespeare play of the same name. There is the soothsayer that always announces disaster for Shakespeare's Roman protagonists. On March 17 was St. Patrick's Day, and Henry V includes English, Irish, Welsh and Scottish people in his band of brothers, even though Shakespeare's age was an age in which there were Irish rebellions that were quelled by mostly the Earl of Essex, which is also mentioned somewhere in here, I think next week or the following week. Yeah, here, March 27th. Again, sterling ink. It's basically the same spread, right? So I wasn't very creative with this. And it goes down. This was like my sterling ink craze phase. I was so happy about all the stuff that I had that I wanted to use it, and wanted to use it there and make some beautiful spreads. March 24th was the day Queen Elizabeth died, which also is referred to in Shakespeare's Henry VIII, well, indirectly. Then the last spread that I did for March, because March is up until here and April is up until here, so my April vellum went to the next week. And again, sterling ink and some cherry blossom washi. And there it's about April Fool's Day, and that touchstone says the fool doth think he's wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool. So that's my Shakespeare Journal. The bit sterling ink heavy, I admit that. So here we start with my Hobonichi, sterling ink March and April. I hadn't written this in when I last showed you my Hobonichi, but I did write them in now. So let's flip to March. This is in fact like, there is also some March sticker from the March subscription box here, and here is the vellum. This is actually the vellum that went with the subscription box. If you look into February again, this was printed on Tomoe paper and was printed by myself. just like the A5 vellum was printed by myself, and this is what actually came in the sub box. Yeah, I didn't quite follow through with my idea to like have something meaningful in this space. So, well, somewhat, but the calendar doesn't quite fit. This is about Ukraine, Putin's war against Ukraine, that is a war of aggression and violates international law. And I was writing about that on Tuesday and Wednesday because it was apparently, these were 2 days in which I did not much more than work, sleep, and, well, journal apparently. I had black and green tea, and I went to Action. That's, if you're American, I think it's something like Dollar Tree or Michael's. You can buy things for very cheap that are also usually good quality. In this case, I bought something called my bullet journal that had 3 types of paper: cream white, craft, and black. And I had wanted this for so long. But I didn't want to buy one of these Neapolitan journals from Archer and Olive because I don't really like 160 GSM paper. That's too thick for me. So this was ideal, and it only cost €1.99. And also a disc planner that was undated. I'm not going to use this anytime soon, but I still wanted to have it because it was only €3.69. I started reading Heaven Official's Blessing Volume 2. It's again one of these Chinese web novels that have been translated to English and I believe also German, not that sure. And I went to a demonstration against Putin's war in Ukraine. So, this is also quite a boring spread. You can see that I carried on with the color theme of Ukraine. And I was talking about not feeling that good because I had fear of failure. And then I used that quote, "Don't think less of yourself if you can't be fearless. Doing it afraid is just as brave." And it's a quote from the undated disc-bound planner that I had bought here on Wednesday. Well, apparently on Thursday. That must be a blunder on my part. Must have been Wednesday. Then I started reading Beanstalk. It's actually a book by a German writer that, well, tries to evoke a British setting in the 50s. And, well, I mean, it's quite nice, but it's not really something. Yeah, there are better books. Let's put it that way. And if you watch Midsummer Murders, that's way better and way funnier. I've heard that the books aren't that good either, but the episodes, at least some of the episodes, are really, really funny, and I love that about that. And also very dark. So definitely prefer that over Beanstalk, but it was quite nice to read. I watched a Sam Plans video in which she was talking about her planner struggle and about getting cramps when she writes too long with ballpoint pens. I feel her on that. But she decided to pick gel pens over ballpoint pens because of that, and I'm a fountain pen girl through and through. So even gel pens are not enough for me to write for a longer period of time without, well, feeling some strain. But with fountain pens, I can write for quite a long time without getting strained. Then Thursday was International Women's Day, and I was talking about this day's history. It actually started out as a strike by women in Petrograd, which is today's St. Petersburg, that sparked in the February Revolution in Russia. And interestingly enough, or I found it interesting, that at that time, women were mostly fighting for being able to vote, whereas now it's mostly about equal pay. So these interests change. Then I had a day in which I wanted to go to an appointment by train. Unfortunately, the train didn't stop at that stop where it was supposed to. There was some kind of public transport that tried to bridge that, and I made it just in time. Just in time. Well, next time I will go earlier if something like that happens. There I was writing about the governor of Oklahoma, who is actually the first tribally enrolled Native American to serve as US governor. His name is Kevin Stitt, but unfortunately he goes against the interests of the Cherokee Nation in Oklahoma, which is strange, but well, I guess that's just the way it goes sometimes in politics. And I was very tired when I made this entry, so I probably shouldn't write when I'm that tired, because if I try to write Kurrent, German Kurrent, then I switch to like my normal writing here. And if I try to write normally, I switch to German Kurrent, which is not what I intended to do on the spread, but I still did it. Anyway, so there's that. Then I finished Beanstalk, wrote a bit about that. This is from the Sterling Ink sub box from April, which arrived that day, which is why the stickers are there. And I also got this washi tape from Sterling Ink. I think it's beautiful, love it. Also love the bookish elements of the April sub box. A day spent mostly at my desk doing work. I did play the guitar on that day, and I wrote about that decorating is more de-stressing for me than actually playing the guitar, which costs me energy, whereas just sitting down and doing stuff is relaxing. I did a little reflection on how I use this journal, and what I noted is that I want to write more with different fountain pens in here, because I love just seeing these fountain pen heavy spreads. So that's what I'm going to do more in here. If you like look here or here in the beginning, I was mostly, well, not here, but there, writing in every second line, and now I want to write in every line except when I make paragraph breaks. So lots of work at caffeine today, and I received mail from Fountain Feeder, which is a German shop where you can buy fountain pens, inks, cartridges, all that jazz. And I bought this Queveco Iridescent Pearl that I first saw in a video by Simone. She showed this, and I thought it was beautiful and I wanted it, and so I bought that from Fountain Feeder. And I also bought some ink samples. We're going to get to that later on. This is also from the Sterling Ink sub box from March, by the way. This is also, oh no, that's a Lauren Phelps Designs washi, I believe, yes. I was a bit high on caffeine because I had drunk so much mate tea yesterday. I biked to work, and when I got home, I started to work more, and now I'm really done TM. And I wrote about this ink because I had noticed that it also smeared on the 22nd of January. This ink, by the way, and here it's smeared. Maybe it's because I don't write that often with my Diplomat Traveler Flame, in which it is, or maybe it's just the ink that is more prone to smearing than certain other inks. Anyway, biked to work, and I had this like key scare. I thought I had lost my black key fob. You can find a picture of it on Instagram, by the way, if you're curious. But thankfully I had just left it next to the computer, so I could find it again. That was great. And to celebrate or to get over that shock, I bought some nice food for lunch. I had ramen that day. It's one of my favorites. And I also put this manekineko and this crane, this folded crane here, because the manekineko is a lucky cat, and I want to commemorate my luck here. Again, here, St. Patrick's Day. And here I wrote just about the life of St. Patrick in the 4th century AD. So it's more like a commonplace entry. On Friday, I went grocery shopping 3 times, and I commemorated this. I also bought sushi, which was very good. So I put stickers there. And this also for going shopping. And here my mom came over to bring me some olive bread. I know people are sort of on the fence about olives, but I love olives. And here I had my cleaning stickers ready, which was also what I did on that Saturday. I don't always put it down or write in here when I'm doing the cleaning, because it's just, my journal. But this time I did, and I wanted to put them there. Catch up journal entries. And this is just a list of what I did that day, among other things, watching Midsummer Murders. And I chatted on Discord with some folks. And here I'm writing that I wish I could just sit down and journal without having so much work that just piles up. Well, I knew it was like that. Anyway, So it was wonderful weather today. I biked to work, and in the afternoon I had a longer video conference, which wasn't that great, but it was okay. And I just put some stickers commemorating that. Still got lots of work to do, and I printed out some Sterling ink calendars for May. And so this is from my abiding journal from Kelsey Lee. I love her printouts as well. And here I'm just journaling about how great it is to be able to use these things in here. And I was pretty tired there. I had someone nice who warned me that there was some place that is in a pedestrian zone where the police was checking bikers and fining them if they went through that pedestrian zone on bikes. So I thought it was quite nice of him to do that. You can have different opinions about that, right? If it's a good thing that you're forewarned if there is someone who wants to fine trespassing in some way or other, whether it's by car or in this case by bike. But I do think it was nice of him to do that. And what also arrived was this Hobonichi Weeks cover by Claudia Muscat, which is also gorgeous, just as gorgeous as this one. I don't have it with me right now, but it's going to house a journal that has Hobo Weeks size, so it's not going to house my actual Hobonichi, but it is quite fitting, and I love it. I'm going to use it probably in summer or autumn. Here I swatched all my Urban inks. I hadn't inked them because of the Inkvent calendar last year, because I had that from Diamond and I, had a hard time finding enough opportunities to put them in fountain pens. So those took sort of a backseat, even though I had bought them first. That's different now. I've got space to refill, for example, Inkvent calendar inks that had gone empty, and now I can refill it with Urban inks, and that's what I did here. I really like all of them actually. The Vert de Gris is one of my favorites. My absolute favorite of this set is Terre de Feu. I thought these three would be my favorites. They're not. It's this and this. And I don't really get to see this yet because it's not true to color yet due to the ink that was in the fountain pen that I used for this ink before that. Anyway, I do love that blue, by the way. Do love that. But Terre de Feu is my favorite. Then here I'm writing that I would love to have summertime forever because it's the right thing for this time zone. It's not the right thing for the Spanish time zone, which I actually put there because, they had a dictator called Francisco Franco there, and he was a great fan of Hitler, which is why the time zone in Spain is the same as in Germany. Yes, that is the reason. It doesn't make sense for Spain. Spain should be in the same time zone as England and Portugal. But it is what it is, right? So anyway, summertime forever would be great because in winter, because of winter time, I go to work when it's dark and I go back from work when it's dark. If we had summertime forever, maybe, just maybe, I could get 1 hour of light when I get home from work. And that would be so, so great. There are some scientists who claim we were all dumb and we should just choose wintertime forever because then we could go to work in the morning when there is light already, which is complete nonsense because there is no light in the morning. I don't know when these people get to work. It's not when I get to work because it's dark when I get to work, even though it is wintertime. And it will also be dark. It would be equally dark when it's summertime, but it would not be dark when I get home from work if we had summertime forever. So anyway, so that's my rant for that day. And we actually talked about that in the setup Lorelei Lee did live on YouTube. I've written that, I think, a few hours before, and then there was a live stream, and it was quite funny that we were talking about the same thing. Then on Monday, there was a stressful day, and here I'm writing about the podcast by Cindy Gunterbaldo that I'm listening to, and she was talking about I'm failing at hobbies, and yeah, same, especially when it comes to writing and playing the guitar, but I'm just so exhausted after work I can't do anything anymore. I can put down stickers and write something trivial like this, but it costs me energy to play the guitar, and I need to focus on that. Whereas I don't need to focus quite as much if I put down some stickers. So there's that. I hope it's going to get better after June is over or in the second half of this year. But we'll see. Hopefully it will, because I do love playing the guitar. Yeah. Then here I received an older Motem cover that I had ordered from Kati Plants from Finland. And it doesn't have a back pocket, but that was exactly what I wanted. I don't like the back pocket that new Motoms have. And this one is red from the inside, which matches my Inuyasha cover, and black from the outside, which is just classy. Just a second, I'm going to fetch it for you. Here it is. And there we go. That's how it looks. Love it. And I think it matches so well. Yeah. What also arrived on that day, on Wednesday, was my order from Hobonichi, my spring order. And I bought all the Hokusai stuff. Just a second, I'm going to show you. So first of all, here is the washi tape that you can also see here. Here is the swatch. That's the actual tape. Then this A4 folder. And it's actually like this. So this is clear. So this is really neat in my opinion. Then I got the 36 views of Mount Fuji postcards from the Tokyo National Museum. Let's open them. I love this clasp. Come on. I can't read this, by the way, but I might use Google Translate for it. It's that way around. And here, yeah, I put this the other way around, right? So here are the postcards. Yeah, it's this way around, obviously. I'm sorry, I'm an idiot about that sometimes. And here are just the views of Mount Fuji, and you always see Mount Fuji somewhere in the background. Sometimes Mount Fuji is bigger, sometimes smaller. In this case, the same size, very small. And here, bigger. There in the background. Far, far away. So anyway, these are the postcards. And now I'm not being a dumbass and I actually put it the way it's supposed to be. Yeah. So that's that. And what I also got is this pouch, because I noticed with my cover from Claudia Muscat, the way I was storing it before that, it was getting darker only here because I had it stored somewhere in, well, where it was like this and then only this part was sticking out. I didn't quite like that, so I decided to use this pouch, which is made for the A6 Hobonichi in the future. And you can also like store ephemera in there. And what's currently stored in there is the cover that I got, also from Hokusai. And it's this one. Yeah, the son and the father doing some fishing. And here behind the fog there is Mount Fuji. And I love water, I love mountains, perfect combination. So there you go. And this is actually not what I ordered in the spring order. You're going to probably learn about my planner struggles in April because, yeah, it's April and I think I figured it out by now. So I'm going to use this for my dailies from July on. Pouch. And what I'm going to do is what I always do, because I need my dailies, I need my dates to the right, because my eye just, if it's there, my eye will only focus on this section. If I put it there, I will still be able to focus on my to-dos here, but also not neglect the appointments that are written in there. I'm going to put the day of the week in here. If it's a bigger sticker or something, I can cover up to this area, because this also says Friday, and I'm not that, sorry if you are, I'm not that interested in the moon phase. Anyway, and I can put washi and whatnot stickers, I don't know, here. And this is the space I've got for the things I need to do and any notes I want to take on that day. I think it will be enough. I'm working with 0.5 and B6 at the moment, and it works. Well, not at the moment, but usually. And I'm just going to show you. So that's my go-to. It's a B6 Stellargy, and what I'm doing in there is also like putting something down there, maybe tracking something here, putting my appointments here and my to-do list there, and it's 0.5 millimeters. And I don't always fill this space. So I believe A6 will be enough for my daily lists. And what I'm doing in there, I just said that I need to tip in 5 pages for June to make this work for June also, which I will do. Sterling ink, sterling ink, sterling ink from May. And here, the excerpt from Terry Pratchett's Night Watch, because it's the 25th of May, in May, which is Lilac Day. It's actually called the glorious 25th of May. Yeah. So I'm a Terry Pratchett fan. I'm a fan of his Watch series and also of the whole Discworld series. And so you can bet on it that there will be lilacs in May and on the 25th in particular. So there's that. And what I'm doing right now, or the thing I'm planning in right now, is this little thing. It's a pocket-sized Rhodia Unlimited. Here is the April title page and April, and my dailies look like this. So quite similar. Space for my to-dos and any notes I want to take. Food, what I drink. That's also what I usually put, or what I would put in May as well. I do have smaller stencils for that. Like you see, I'm going to use the Kokyo stencil that I have, because I'm also using the same things in my 5-year journal. So I need to use another stencil than the one that I'm using for the 5-year journal, which is the blue Hobonichi stencil, by the way. Also has dinner, books, music, movie, which is mostly what I use, sometimes shopping. You could also track the weather, but I'm usually doing that in my weekly overview and not in my dailies. But we'll see what I'm going to do in the future. Not sure about that. But here, always one sticker. This is also sterling ink. And here, space for my appointments. And if you look at it closely, or if you turn it that way, then you can see, like this, for example, that if you open pocket size like that, this is actually B7 and that's B6, because that's how these sizes work. One is double the other, even though with the B sizes you can get variations because they are not normed, whereas the A sizes are all normed. Like this is A6, this is normed. That's from my Easter bunny, by the way, that I had, my chocolate bunny. So that's how I plan at the moment for April, and in May I will be back in my Stellargy, and in July I will be in an A6 Hobonichi for my dailies. Now you may ask, well, Jess, but what do you do with January to June? Did you just waste half a Hobonichi? No, of course not. I didn't. What I'm doing here is, I think I mentioned it, right? that I wanted to have something where I can swatch my fountain pen inks on Tomoe River paper. And here I've got an index, a space where I can swatch the ink, just the ink, and then a space where I can do swatches and some longer text written with that ink, like here. And I chose Dr. Faustus by Thomas Mann as the book that I'm going to start writing in there. Thomas Mann is very lengthy, so even if I fill all those pages with inks, it won't be enough. It won't be enough to get through that book. I'm not intending to either. I'm just going to start with it there and see how far I get. Well, anyway, so that's how I'm going to use my first half of this Hobonichi avec. That's that. I believe that was everything about my Hobonichi order. And that's the last page. And I'm saying, well, it was such a lovely March. It was so warm, and now it's going to get cold. We actually did get snow in April. And how sad I was that was going to be the case, because the cherry blossoms had already blossomed. Okay, there's that. That's my flip from March. I hope you enjoyed it. Personally, I think I had more creative spreads in other months. I do think my April spreads are actually more interesting than my March pages, so stay tuned. I hope you will be around for my April Hobonichi flip through as well. And if you are interested in whenever I'm going to upload this, then please subscribe to this channel. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Leave me a flower icon if you actually made it this far. If you want to write me a comment, maybe how interesting or not interesting you find my glimpses into the Shakespeare Journal. I'm actually not sure about that, but the Hobonichi flip I am sure about. That's what I want to do on this channel. Also, of course, other planner and journal stuff, so stay tuned for that as well. I hope I'm going to be able to film a video on my work planner in the foreseeable future. I hope you enjoyed this video again, and I wish you a pleasant day, afternoon, night, whatever it is for you, and keep on planning, journaling, whatever it is that you do and that you enjoy. Bye!